Well, hello there and welcome back to your AVP class. Today we're going to be talking about Faith Ringgold. Faith Ringgold is a very rare type of artist for two main reasons. First, she is a woman. And second, she is an African American. Neither was very commonly found in the art world of her time. Faith Ringgold was born in the 1930s. As a child, she suffered from severe asthma and stayed home a lot with her mother. Ringgold's mom was a fashion designer and showed her how to work with crayons, fabric, and even sewing. Faith was lucky to have such awesome parents that helped her to read, and they even helped her when she was having trouble with her homework. Faith's great-great-grandmother taught her how to make quilts. Yes, great-great-grandmother. So that's like her parents' parents? Wow. So even further than that, Faith's great-great-great-grandmother was a slave, and she had to make quilts for her white masters. There is a strong tradition of African American quilt making. It was influenced by weaving, originally done by men in Africa. The skill transferred to women when they were brought to America as slaves. The quilt served many purposes. They provided warmth, preserved memories and events, told stories, and served as message boards for the Underground Railroad, which guided slaves on their way north to freedom. In 1950, Faith started studying art at a New York City college. Focusing on painting, she graduated with a bachelor's degree in fine arts and education in 1955. She then taught art in the New York City public school system from 1955 to 1973. She then went back to school and received her master's degree in fine arts. All along the way, Faith was married and had 2 daughters. She decided to travel to Europe with her mother and daughters to study the masters, such as Picasso, Matisse, Monet, and many others. When she returned to America, she became serious about creating art. It was the early 1960s. The civil rights movement was underway in the United States. African Americans were fighting for equality. This was during a time that African Americans had to use separate bathrooms, go to separate restaurants, and even attend separate schools. Faith Ringgold used her art to express her feelings about civil rights and the way African Americans were treated. Eventually, she came up with the idea to use her art and tell her own life story. With the help of her mother, she started adding fabric borders around her paintings. She and her mother created a quilt together that showed a grid of 30 pictures representing life in Harlem. Faith created many story quilts. She used acrylic paint on canvas, quilted fabric on the borders, and storytelling. She told the story of her childhood in Harlem, where her family would eat and play cards on the roof on a hot summer evening. This is Tar Beach. She later wrote and illustrated a book to go with this quilt. She wrote 12 children's books in all, and most of her stories all encourage children to take flight and follow their dreams. And that is a little bit about Faith Ringgold, so now let's get started on your project.